Yeah. Cave of Two
Jeremy,
Lovers.
Just gets you. Just
we
gets
should
you
have
right
told you
here.
we have
It
you have to
does.
give us warning if you're going to play Leaves from the Vine, because that one took me by surprise, and I immediately started crying, as I do every time even those words come up. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Did you hear those songs? It just reminds you of the music of the show, and I'm so excited for fans to experience this concert because, you know, a lot of times in film and television, music is not the forefront of the storytelling. It's a lot of the visuals or the acting or filmmaking and whatnot. So
great point.
Having this music being the forefront of it, because music is the entry, the entree into this world, and in Avatar and things like great shows like, you know, movies like Star Wars or Harry Potter, and you don't really always realize that. And to step in this show and to get to see music being the forefront, it's going to be, I think, I can't wait to experience it myself, and I can't wait for all the community out there to get to experience this and to see the visuals and how you're explaining it to be the whole show. And I can't wait to just really experience this. I think it's going to be an experience. That's how I
couldn't agree more. Talk about immersive. Yeah, I mean, I already am emotional. Like, I'll get emotional when a kid's band is marching in a parade. Something about just live music and human beings. Like, I always say that music is the thing that I lean on when I'm like, are we going to destroy ourselves? Like, what are humans doing? What are we doing? For me, music is the first thing that sort of makes me feel like, oh, but we also do this, you know, we also do this, and there's hope if we do this. And so between my emotional response to Avatar and to all the amazing work that all three of you guys did on that series, and then adding the live music, I'm almost afraid. Like, I almost need like a silent crying booth, like a noise cancellation booth for everyone else around. If I can just slide into that booth, because I'm going to be bawling the entire time.
I think it's going to be pretty emotional, honestly. Like, I got pretty teary watching some of this stuff that Jeff cut. Like, there's some, I don't want to give away much, really, actually. I want people to be pretty surprised, but I feel really good about like being able to sort of capture the feeling of Avatar, you know, which is like this painful, beautiful, joyous, it's just overwhelming, you know, kind of ball in your chest.
I think you're right. The feeling. I think that's what the music is. The music is the feeling of the show, and not the words, and not the intellectual part of the show, but just the feeling of it. And I can't wait to feel that.
The writers and Brian and Mike and everyone on this show did a really good job of like allowing the space for that like subtextual emotion, and like they were just it was so well crafted in that sense, you know. And I think that's like the thing that like really just still is the reason why it's like still beloved all these years later, you know, which is amazing to me. It's not an easy thing to do.
And now you're saying it's a 2-hour show. And so, Jeff, when you came into it, was the music already set? How were you a part of it? How did you kind of create the visual storyline of what was going on?
Yeah, Jeremy really, he had it laid out all, you know, all these musical moments. And like he said, if you go back into the series, these musical moments aren't necessarily drawn out at any length. They're often vignettes, and they, you know, 20-second, 30-second pieces, a minute here and there. But and he created a way of pulling these things together to create, you know, an arc. And we've actually split the concert up into kind of 3 books. And so each kind of has its own arc, and then there's, you know, the big arc of the show. So yeah, again, without giving too much specifically away, it was sort of a dance between, are we cutting a moment directly from the show to the score, or are we sort of creating a new almost collage visually to go with the music? Like, what story is the music telling? And yeah, again, this was that sort of a unique opportunity and a really great experience for me, in that I get to cut to Jeremy's music and pull from what I know the music is saying from knowing the show, but also sort of create almost new moments, and always trying to keep in mind, you know, the emotional, where we're pulling from emotionally in those musical pieces and try to, recreate that visually. I have the footage for the entire series, that I'm pulling from. So often I would go down these rabbit holes, and I was rewatching. I would catch myself. I'm trying to cut together this piece, and I want to get out to Jeremy so he can see it, and I just go down this rabbit hole just watching the show again.
Yep.
And then also, we have this. It's this 2-hour show. I would be watching to pull for a very specific piece. They go, oh, you know what? That could really work in this other piece. Trying to keep myself focused instead of jumping back and forth and plugging in moments. But yeah, it was a really unique experience that way. And and also just getting to work with Jeremy like this. We haven't really collaborated, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was a ton of fun to collaborate with.
So much fun.
him.
So there is back and forth happening where you are sending pieces to Jeremy and saying, like, how do you feel about this? Is this working?
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of back and forth. Yeah, it was really collaborative and really fun. Like, it was really unique, this experience.
On social media, on TikTok, all these fans, everyone, they do these things called edits, which are editing, right? And they'll take Zuko's storyline, or they'll take Aang's storyline and edit to some of Jeremy's music, or edit to some pop music. And you get to see the fans taking, like you said, like the whole, whatever they have on DVD or whatever, and cutting it into this thing. And this is what I'm imagining, which we're going to experience some of these things. And then the other thing I was thinking about it, because you guys are like us, as we're going back to the podcast now, it's like, watch, since we all worked on it so many years ago, it's kind of like having these deja vu moments of those times in our lives and the people we were working with, or what was going on with us personally. And then on top of it, how brilliant the show ended up becoming and impacting the world. Did you guys have those same feelings going back to this, this thing that we all worked on so many years ago and bringing it back now? Did it like just bring up some old memories and feelings of working on it originally?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Like, reminded me of things I had completely forgotten about, or like, Ben Wynn and I, when we were the first season, we worked together in like one space, and Ben was the reason. Actually, Ben had a lot of very cool instruments that he brought to the table, like the kalimba. Ben was like, let's use this kalimba, because we actually collaborated on the music for the pilot.
Will you remind people what the kalimba is?
Oh, I have one right here.
Me too.
Oh yeah. Actually, hey! Jeff, you show yours, because yours is more like the one we used for.
My partner just got this for me. It was an early Christmas present, but I had shown her my favorite song of Jeremy's from the series is the Into the Nighttime Sky, which I haven't learned to play yet, but that's the first thing I'm going to learn to play on this. But it's the.
Yeah.
But
it's cool.
Yeah, I'm sure Jeremy could just whip out Into the Nighttime Sky, but
not on this one.
I'm really excited about having it.
This is like a chromatic one, or has some chromatic notes, which means like if you look at a piano, the black keys, I guess. It's a very simplistic way of just explaining what chromatic is. Not quite right, but close enough. So I don't even really know how to play this thing. I got this thing. I was all like, worked up one night and was like, I'm getting a more complicated kalimba, and now I'm like, what do I do with this thing?
Oh, why it's got the two layers?
Yeah.
Play jazz kalimba.
Like,
a little jazz kalimba.
Oh, I should have practiced. I wish I'd practiced. I would have been able to play Into the Nighttime Sky.
Next time.
You started it. I felt it. I felt that in there.
I could hear it.
It's one of those things, though. You just start playing with it, and it just feels. You can just feel that song coming out.
Yeah. Well, my daughter actually figured it out. She's about to turn 14, and my son who's 11, he was like, play dad the Avatar thing, and I was like, what's this? What's going on? And then she's like, is this right, Dad? And she started playing it, and it was right, and I was just like, that was pretty good. That's good.
Oh yes.
So surreal. So surreal.
That's
like
beautiful.
That's beautiful. When I was 26 or whatever and came up with that, I never would have thought of the possibility of having 14-year-old daughter playing that back to me. It's someday. Whew.
Yeah. Are your families going to get to see the work that you did, you guys? Like
they're
the live
going to come
touring
to
show?
the premiere in London. Yeah, they're going to come to London for the premiere, and then I think we're going to go to one of the San Francisco shows too.
I'm trying to go to London, so at least. So.
Oh, we gotta get
You
gotta go to London.
We got to get you to London.
Gotta go
Yeah.
to London, Jeff.
Listen, everyone knows because we made this happen from just our conversation about it 2 years ago.
That's right. We manifested it.
If we say it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Bend your ear for ad-free episodes with Avatar Braving the Elements Premium.
Subscribe today on Apple Podcasts.